DC Comics has a very long, storied, and convoluted history, but Mark Waid has arrived in order to help simplify and tell the story of the history of the DC Universe. And today, we have the pleasure and privilege of reviewing that comic alongside a whole host of other great ones this week on on Pals Pulls. Thank you so much for listening and joining us to have this conversation today. We've got Cale.
What's up, DC dogs?
Marco is here with us.
I'm confused.
And I'm Sean. Thank you for being here. Confusion is the name of the game for Marco, but that's okay. Speaking of confusion, I am confused by people saying Celsius in the chat, Marco. Can you explain that to me?
You do you not remember that?
No.
Celsius.
Yeah. That's somebody in the chat said that at some point, and or maybe that was Marco. Someone said it at some point to reference
Oh, I
Stan
did.
Lee
I did.
saying Excelsior,
Right.
but they messed it up.
Right.
So
Right.
That was the multi-level, purposeful but not purposeful. Who said Celsius? Who did that? Super
it
Job.
was a super job.
You're the
Dude,
guy.
I was watching Crisis's stream, okay? Crushing Crisis, great channel, big fan. And I was talking in that chat and people were saying Celsius to me and I'm like, "What does that mean?"
Bro.
And they're like, "Ask Marco."
No
Marco.
way! It caught
Marco,
on, dude.
my man, you've got a what's up hot dog.
I made a meme.
Bro, you did it.
I fucking. Long-time listeners will know I've been searching for my meme, Marco's meme, as it were, for
So proud of you.
how long have we been doing the show? 8+ years. We
Yep.
did it. We got here. It only took that long.
Wow, dude. I mean, it's only in the back half you've been talking. So, it's okay.
The last year or so. Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here, whether you are live with us or in the future. Make sure you smash the like button if
Smash
you are
it.
used to us. Subscribe to the channel a little later when you get comfy with the vibes around here. Let's talk about the books we're going to talk about today, shall we? We've got
Count them.
six of this week's biggest releases. The aforementioned New History of the DC Universe, Absolute Martian Manhunter, number 4, Absolute Wonder Woman, number 9, Justice League Unlimited, number 8. This is the finale of the We Are Yesterday story. Ultimate Spider Man, number 18. And last but not least, necessarily, the Uncanny X-Men, number 16. So we've got a pretty hot docket. And we're going to waste no time jumping into these books. And let's kick things off with New History of the DC Universe, number 1. Mark Waid is the writer that DC entrusted with this monumental task, maybe the task of his life. But I would argue he's up to it. Joining him are Jerry Ordway and Todd Knock on the art, colors by John Callis and Matt Herms, letters by Todd Klein. Now, if you came to this expecting a traditionally told story, you will not receive that from this. That is not what this is. It is a an expertly drawn history book. It's really what it is, giving you the history of DC from the Big Bang, as it were, up until the the destruction of Krypton.
I think before the Big Bang,
Well, yeah, but
technically.
yeah.
Like,
Wasn't dense, which I appreciated. Like,
ooh, I don't know about that.
well, it wasn't like narrative focused but I also didn't feel like I was reading, a statistic in, on this day in this year, don't you forget that this thing happened. Like it gave me glimpses enough that I could build my timeline, and then the annotations in the back did the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Cale, you seem to be hot out the gate as far as whether, the how this reads. What did you make of this?
I want to be clear. I appreciate the titanic effort that is going into this. And I definitely appreciate that it's Mark Waid's opportunity to go. Yeah, everything I've ever read, absolutely canon. Don't worry about it. Um, because there are characters in here that's like, when was the last time this person had a comic book? 1920. Um, but for me, like this was quite a slog. And the DC history is something that I definitely love and love to delve into. But reading it on a deadline is not what I'm here for. Um, it was like, so there's a comedian from the early 2000s, Nick Swartzen, who has a joke that's always stuck in the back of my head because I'm a massive Pokemon fan. He says, when you're talking to a 6-year-old and they start talking about Pokemon and they go, and this one does this one, and this one, they do this, and this one, and this, and he does this, and this one does this. That's kind of what this felt like. It was just it's not bad by any means, and it gives you a great glimpse of everything that's ever happened in the DC universe, according to Mark Waid. Um, but this is the first issue.
Yeah.
And it, like, again, like like sort of like Marco said, like the captions aren't necessarily dense, but they do feel thick. Like I felt like I was still having to do some work.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I definitely can see the value of this for it's weird because I don't feel like this was targeted for me. Like this feels like it's for someone who really, really deeply cares about the entire history from stem to stern of DC, and that doesn't describe me. Um, like I care about it, I guess, but like I want to read it. I want to read it as it happens. This felt like a dictation of this happened, then that happened, then this happened, and it's like, man, like for those of you who don't know, this is the way it's presented, right?
Yeah.
So like each of these, what I guess you could call panels, are different pieces of DC's history, and they each essentially get a blurb, and they're all introducing a character or a concept or something like that, and there isn't really a narrative through line other than like just we're taking you through the history of DC.
Well, and it is like, that is the point. Like there is a framing device of Barry Allen is putting this timeline together. But that's what you get,
Yeah.
you know.
Full transparency, I read this last in my stack, and it was the book that put me to sleep.
I I read it yesterday and it took up all of my reading time. And I went, boy, I'm glad I did this a day early.
I left this to be like, I'm like, oh, this looks like long enough that it'll be my commute read this morning. First of all, bad commute. And I'm there like this. I'm like, and then this happened. Oh, I'm glad I was standing because it
Yeah.
forced me to like kill time, you know. But but I thought the glimpses were they were so much fun to me that I didn't
For sure.
mind. I
Yeah.
didn't mind and there was definitely a level of, oh, this now connects to this, which means that this connects to that, and that was cool. I enjoyed the process of all of it.
And that's genuinely the stuff I love about DC is, the DC history is so like, the roots of the tree of DC, Yggdrasil, as it were, we found out in this book, go down so much further than what you see weekly. Like when DC is doing it right, its history it uses history that spans all 100 years of publication. I love that. Um, for me though, like a lot of this stuff is probably never gonna be touched.
That's a part of it too, is like, what is the I hate to say this way, and I know this gets people in their bunches, but like, what is the relevance of these facts? Like in the like other than this is the history of DC, which is valid. I'm not saying that this shouldn't exist. I'm
Mm.
not critiquing it from that perspective. It definitely should exist. But for me, for my buying power, for my weekly comics experience, how much of this is going to matter to what I experience on a weekly, monthly basis as a DC reader?
I, it's not. It frankly, it's not because that poll, for example, you called out there, Yggdrasil. That's like the Rick Veitch part of the run that then for Swamp Thing that then like bled into Doug Wheeler, who's like an unknown writer. Like I saw that and I popped off. I'm like, oh cool, I read that, but no one else will ever read that, nor will it ever be relevant ever again. And um, I purely think that that's what it's there for, is to like this book to me serves as one of those that however many number of issues I'm gonna put into one of the bags, not without a board, so that I can just have it and house it and be like, I have this thing. Not even
Mm.
as a reference guide. It feels like it's purely to have and say, I got this thing and it was a moment in time that I read it. It won't affect my day to day, but it's cool that I had it. That's purely what I think the purpose that this thing is serving. And it's neat, but it doesn't affect anything else.
Well, I do think like, like the purpose of it is, to realign the history of the DC for publication, to get everyone roughly on the same page, creatively, but also I think for the audience, because it's been so long since we've had one of these. Um, this, like I said, this stuff matters in the DC world if you're in it, and like Marco might not care about Max Crandall, who later becomes Max Mercury, but I also don't give a shit about his stupid treat. The good part is that they are connected and they're in the same world and they are in there. So if we want connection, they can find it. It's just like reading it as a weekly book might not be the way to go.
Yeah. I did pop off for Max Mercury, Cale. Now that I've been reading the size Flash run, I know who that is.
Marco,
Dude,
man, Max Mercury rules.
he's rad, dude. So seeing that and seeing the origin, otherwise, I
Yeah,
was like, holy shit!
yeah.
There's like, it does feel like it unlocks levels and levels of depth, and I love that about comics. Like, I don't care about the. This might sound contradictory. I don't care about the connectivity of or the um like the sharedness of the universe necessarily, but I like the aspect that there's lore behind things.
Hmm.
It's like the best way I can describe it is, you remember in like Metroid Prime, like specifically Echoes, you like
Yeah.
scan everything. I give so much of a shit about scanning everything and reading the lore and the stories. I don't, but it doesn't affect stuff, right? In the moment, I'm shooting bad guys and I got to scan this thing for the purposes of the game and to progress to the next level. But having the catalog and working my way backwards is fascinating.
I want to well, I feel like this. I feel like if this was released as a trade first with no singular issues, just as a trade, I think that would be a very different reading experience and one that I think people
Yeah.
will value a lot down the
Yeah.
road. I'm personally excited to get, because this isn't my era either. This issue is largely Golden Age, which is not my thing. When this gets around to like pre New 52, post New 52 era, I'm going to be very interested to see what's canon and what is not, according to DC and Mark Waid from that time period. Because keep in mind, that's a time period that I don't think Mark Waid had anything to do with. I can't, I don't,
He
yeah,
would have been. He would. I think he would have been gone at that point.
yeah. So that's very compelling to me. I like that. The other thing I really liked is the art. I gotta say,
Mm.
I really always enjoy what Todd Knock does. Jerry Ordway, I don't think I've seen as much of, but boy, oh boy, did both of them do a tremendous job. The history of DC is beautiful.
Todd Knock is such an interesting choice for this. Like, not a bad one by any means, but to like, I read him for the first time in Young Justice, way back when, and he he has a particular style and like a particular face that I can't not see.
Mhm.
Um, and it hasn't like, obviously he's improved in the 20 years since I've read that, that series, but uh it's his style is still roughly the same. And it's just it's funny to me in like not in a pejorative way at all that they would pick him for this uh because it doesn't to me it doesn't have a necessarily classic house style.
I could see that. I could see that.
It, it felt a little like there were instances, and I can't distinguish or weigh between knock necessarily, but I think there's a level of cross section, and in particular this like the web, the web, the western, gunslingers and stuff like this. Um, if you guys know what's his name, Gabriel Rodriguez, Lock and Key, like
Uh,
there's a lot of familiarity there from that style. I don't know what we can probably tie this down to necessarily, but this felt fitting in that it's not as like Toth as Samney or Cook, but it also doesn't go the direction of like or it starts to touch on the direction that like maybe a Capullo does with like the lines and some of the etching in the inks. Like there's like
Marco, turn that page
uh okay,
with Congorilla.
yeah.
Put that up. That's Jerry Ordway. Jerry Ordway is one of like the old timey artists that if I'm not mistaken, probably, I mean, probably not worked on these titles per se, but worked a lot in the olden days. So that is to say, um, Todd Knock and Jerry Ordway are two pretty different artists, I think.
I like that they were chosen for this. I don't think that they're necessarily the expected choice, but especially for an issue that focuses on the golden age, I think Todd Knock, having done a lot of work with Jeff Johns on some of his golden age stuff, and Jerry Ordway actually being an older artist, I like their styles as representing this time frame. I don't actually know who the artist will be on the next one, but I like the choice so far. So we'll see what they do in the future. But
I did want to call out it once we get to the, I want to say the gunslingers, the like um the yeah, like the gunslingers, and then also the army people, like that section JSA, like right before JSA and then right after. I felt like that's where I started to see all of the influx of creations, which makes sense, right? Like that's like the origin of superheroes in DC. But everything before that, it's like a single page. You don't get the volume. You get the hand, you only get a glimpse of Anti-Monitor, etc., the Endless, all that kind of stuff, because those are things that came after the creation of the initial wave of Golden Age heroes that backdated, if that makes sense. Like it was cool to see the number of, like, for example, for me, I popped off on the war page, the war section. Outside of a Sergeant Rock, Unknown Soldier, even the losers, the Haunted Tank, Mademoiselle Marie. Hell yeah, that sounds cool as shit. Where do I get that?
I'm not sure how to recommend this one because I didn't have a good time reading this. I'm not gonna lie. I had a good time looking at it.
Yeah.
Um, but I did not enjoy myself reading this. And I don't think it's essential for a person who wants to know, like a person who cares about DC. You can care about DC and be the biggest DC fan on the planet without knowing any of this. So I don't really know who this is for, but it wasn't for me. Um, I'm more excited for future issues, but on this one, I think I have to say pass.
Wow. I say pull. I hear you. I say pull because these things now, like on DC, for example, on the DC app rather, I've been compiling as many war comics as I can, just like for my reference, and I shared it in the Discord, so you could probably search it if it's helpful. But now I have like other starting points to read more and consume more of the things that I want to via the apps, because I can work my way backwards, stuff like that. Um, so I think for me it felt functional. Like now I have my textbook. Let me read my way through things. So for that, it's a pull. Um, for the reading experience itself, I still enjoyed it. Like I like learning about this stuff, and I think the framing functioned. And the art's great to look at. So it's still a pull for me. I'm excited for the next issue. Um, yeah, it's just to see where things line up.
Yeah, I think I also am conflicted about this. This is uh the stuff I love about DC. Like we've got Dr. Occult here, Osgood Armsby. Like fuck yeah. But me and Hound are the only people that know who Dr. Occult is.
Oh man.
So I don't know how to it's tough for me. I don't totally know how to recommend it either. I think I'm with Hayden. I think this is a light pull. I would recommend this with some heavy conditions.
Let's see where the chat lines up as far as this particular book. Know that every book we review, we put up a poll within the chat for you live viewers to vote on and help us determine what you're thinking about the book in question. For this one, you're overwhelmingly saying pull it, 57% say pull, 17% say pass. Didn't buy or read is also 17%, and pick of the week is 8%.
I
Hmm.
get that didn't buy a read. I do feel that.
Yeah, yeah, it's not something you need to immediately read, but it definitely is something that you can get later. Um, and like there's a cool timeline in the back. And it continues this and tells us more about when people first appeared and stuff. And there's one bit that I was shocked to see. It's a reference to Batman: The Return of Bruce Wayne, which is the Grant Morrison story after Batman was shot into the past, and it shows
Yeah.
the first Batman, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the idea with some of this is to take those moments and line them up alongside, in the literal timeline, you know.
Yep.
And I think that's what's interesting about this modern telling of the whole DC universe. I don't I know that a book like this has been done I think it was in the 90s. Um I don't know if it was necessarily done this way though, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I believe Mark Wade did a Marvel equivalent of this, I think.
Yeah.
But I never
Yeah.
read it.
Someone
So
mentioned that, and I think someone said Javier Rodriguez.
Did the art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that must be cool.
nice. Nice.
Um,
The art on number 2, sorry, Marco.
go ahead.
The art on number 2 is Brad Walker and Mike Allred.
And
Wow.
Number 3, we've got Dan Jurgens and Doug Mankey.
oh,
And then number 4 is Tony Daniel and Hayden Sherman.
Oh
whoa.
shit.
Yeah, so number 4 will be the one to get
Wow.
Well, Doug Mankey, man, shout
for
out.
us. Well,
Come on.
I don't want to shout him out.
Gavin Gidry says my only complaint is that I didn't get asked to do any of these. I have that complaint as well.
It's interesting to see the chat, how people are like, Entertain Me says, I don't necessarily want a pull, but I also don't want to pass.
Yeah.
Rami Darwish, I liked it, but a trade would have been stronger. Like, I feel like there's a reverence and understanding for what this is, but for what we're doing here, the weekly comics, it doesn't suffice. It doesn't fit the criteria.
Yeah.
Hayden's Hideout. Been a Comics Pals channel member for 4 months. Says pick of the week, news from the Fallout, number 1. The art is really stylized, so it won't work for everyone, but it works for me. I may have thoughts about that book a little bit later.
Oh, you got it, dude. For all the shit that I talk about your LCS, Image books did not ship to Forbidden Planet. I could not pick that one up.
Oh,
Forbidden
wow.
Planet. Weird.
Hmm. Hmm.
Shut up.
Well, hold on. That'll be because you went to a different shop. You don't normally go to Forbidden Planet.
Me? I always go.
The hell you do?
What are you talking about? That's where I go. That's where I pick up my books. That's where they give me. They give me free bags and boards every time.
Yeah, he's been saying that for a while now.
Mate.
No, I thought you had a new different shop from
Nah.
your old different shop.
Oh no, that place closed.
Well, I know. That's why I think
Oh,
you had. I thought you had an old, a new one.
He also says Gunnar pick of the week is the Absolute Wonder Woman Inhyuk Lee variant, which I have not seen. So I'm gonna stroll over to leagueofcomicgeeks.com and agree whole fucking heartedly. Damn. Absolute Wonder Woman. What a gem. What a gem. We got a 199 from Common Sense who says Hope Wade will acknowledge Neuron and Diana. Dude, he acknowledged fucking everybody in this issue. So I got to imagine he's going to get to everybody else. I got to imagine.
Yeah.
Who went unaccounted for here?
Yggdrasil, fucking shout out, dude. Come on.
Hell yeah. Luna
Even gave Perpetua the time of day. Like,
word. I saw that. I was like, what? Okay.
What a bummer. Lunar has been a member of the channel for 8 months and says,
wow.
New History of the DC Universe has me now reading more back issues. That's great. That's great. And that's one of the cool things, I think, for the archaeologists among you is that if you go to the back matter of this book, it gives you the issue, it gives you the year for all the connecting elements. And it's amazing to look at just as a piece of history, how they're connecting moments that happen so across real time, instances that are decades apart that they connect together, So it really is it's awe-inspiring, even if it wasn't fun for me to read. Common Sense with the 499. Elements of the New 52 is canon. Wallace West, Duke Thomas, Harper Row, Bunker, Justice League Dark, and in New 52, Kid Eternity. I need to know what's up with Superman. That's what I need to know.
In the New 52.
Yeah. Yeah. I need that info.
See, I can't imagine DC's gonna let him say anything revolutionary. You know, I think he'll say what happened. We had a Superman, but the other one had a kid and came in, and the new 52 one died.
I would prefer they play it as straight as possible.
Yeah.
Just don't get cute with it. It's so. What you just said is it's straightforward, I guess, because we both know exactly what you mean. But if you
Hmm.
didn't, what the fuck would you think of that? Yeah, Marco doesn't know. Marco, what do you think of what Cale just said?
I glazed over. I don't know what you're talking about. There's one Superman, and that's all I know.
And yet, to me, it made perfect sense.
Right?
So that's why I think they need to just streamline it and show what Cale said, lay it out narratively in one or two bubbles, and call it a day.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Super job. Where's Sideways? Dude, Sideways will be here. We asked Mark Wade.
Yep.
He laughed too. He popped up.
Yo, yeah. He said, whoever you want to be in there will probably be in there.
He had thoughts about Sideways too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
CW Gordon brings up Icon getting a name drop. That was
Yeah.
surprising to me.
That was.
I was like, oh
The
shit.
the one that got me was the Golden Age time traveling Green Arrow and Speedy.
Yeah. What's that about?
I always knew they were part of whatever team that was. Is that the Seven Soldiers, I think? But I had no idea how that could be possible.
All right, guys, let's keep things rocking. We've got many more books to review here. Thank you guys for hanging out, choosing us to be your review crew tonight. There are other channels that are live, but I appreciate you being here with us. Thank you so much. Let's talk about Absolute Martian Manhunter, number 4. This was I think it was all but one of us that chose this as what we expected to be our pick of the week over on Pals Previews, which you guys should always listen to. This is Dennis Camp, Javier Rodriguez, Hassan Otsman Al How. You know by now the creative team. Let's see if they lived up to what is a considerable amount of hype for this series. This one is it's a June. It's an issue that's like based in June-ish, like it's based in the summer, right? So it's hot out here. And the entire concept of the issue is sort of built around sorry.
Bless you. Oh Lord.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
It's built around sort of what happens when the heat is on. And I think if you live in the city, if you know about living in the city, a lot of this will be familiar to you. The idea that when it's sun's out, guns out, as I like to say, which means that when it's hot outside, people with bad intentions tend to hang around. And
Sun's out, we bring out all our Glocks.
yep, exactly. Marco, how'd you feel about this edition of Martian Manhunter?
On 3?
Countdown.
Sure.
1, 2, 3. Pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Oh, okay.
This is actually my pick of the week. I did that to fuck with you, Marco, because you left me hanging last week.
But it wasn't my pick of the week.
You shouldn't have left me hanging. Solidarity.
At all
No,
costs.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I want to say page 1. Page 1 I said, all right, that's it. It won. Nothing else. Just those three the three
Yeah,
starting
man.
panels. That's
Yeah.
it. And then everything like the subsequent color work and design, orange, slight yellow, blue, and white. Again, we're just toying with all of the colors that consistently appear. These primary, relatively primary colors, right? Like that's all this book ends up being. The metaphor of heat is always good in comics. You can think of Frank Miller's Batman. There's just moments where using that as a tension builder, using the environment to help make things feel like they're escalating, reaching a boiling point, literally, physically, metaphorically, and then that ends up working against the protagonist here with his wife. Ah, man, Dennis Camp just knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing with this, and paired up with Rodriguez here, they're an impeccable pair. I adored this issue.
Yeah, I really love the color work in this issue, and especially like the explosion page. Like when when he realizes how his wife feels about him, and we see the explosion of color from the black and white pages, and white has represented heat through the whole book, and it finally like envelops everything, and everything's in black and white until that moment when she says, I don't know how you feel about me. And he goes, what? And it just like explodes from his head, just every possible color. I thought it was tremendous. And most of the color work through this, like Marco said, is fairly fairly primary. But then when you get to the end, at the bottom of the pages that Marco's holding up, those are like the secondary colors. And you're like, ooh, hold on a second. Because they're also in darkness, and then the Martian gets it at the last second when everything's wrong. Oh, the white Martian loves it when it's dark. Of course, this was all just a distraction. And it like, wow. That said, I have a minor complaint.
Okay.
I kind of felt like um the different scenarios of townspeople fighting, like it was one after the other, after the other, after the other, up to the point where John and his wife are start their argument. It felt like a lot, and it felt like it went on for a long time. It was just this, it felt like a lot of superfluous information that works really well for just this minor story on this page, and it illustrates the environment, but I could have used maybe like one or two less.
I am totally with you on that. I thought that was just it was just too much, and it almost kind of felt like filler, which I always hate to say, but it illustrates the point, but the point was illustrated multiple times, and we got it. In fact, for me, this actually didn't rise above solid until we started to get a little bit more of John and his wife and their conflict. That sort of turned it all together for me. Like, oh shit. Because the personal relationship is the only thing, that and the Martian are the only things that we've been able to connect to issue over issue. So I really like that. And I like the idea that, as Marco was illustrating earlier, heat, I think it was Marco, like heat and what it represents, and how it can represent that rising tension. And we've seen their tension rising.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I think it was the second page, which I fucking love this panel, dude. When his wife is looking at him and
Yeah.
she says, "We need to talk," and he says it's written all over her face, and all over her face you see the things that she thinks about her husband: bad father, enough, separation, not happy. Like, oh man, imagine being able to read a mind. Like he ain't guessing. He's not guessing. That's what she thinks. It's written on her face.
Mhm.
What
It's
a
funny.
blow.
It's funny to think like that. That is the metaphor too. It's written on her face, right? But literally, like, you're just playing with levels here, man.
Well, and the Martian says that
Yeah,
literal equals metaphor, literal equals metaphor.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, layers. This like layers. I saw someone say, I don't remember who it was, but I saw someone say that they feel like people are glazing this book because it's the thing to do right now. And I couldn't disagree with that perspective more.
I think we're just throwing words around. We don't care what they mean anymore.
I agree with that.
glazing, aura farming. Like, we're just saying words now.
If something is good, it's good, and I think this book is damn fucking good.
Yep.
Damn
Yep.
good.
I think also we're starting to see, and I'm trying to find the page, but we're starting to see the bond grow a little bit deeper, or continue to grow deeper. There's here this like this page sequence or the pages sequence where John's kind of walking down and he's having thoughts, and his thoughts are in the captions, but then they're it's like a call and response where the Martian is almost responding in metaphor to the literal situation that he's kind of talking about, and it's going from caption to thought bubble, caption to thought bubble. Like the trail of thought is unifying, and it's expressed in different bubble forms or different caption and bubble forms. But there's so much there that is like, again, we're seeing the joining of these, the melding of these minds. um and I particularly loved this uh balloon where it's the kids, they're like kind of like splashing around and stuff, and then it says mundane and miraculous as breath. There's some poetry in here, man.
Whoa, dude! You say Dennis Camp and poetry, I get flashbacks to that fucking Ultimates issue with the Asgardians and the
Oh,
poetry and
that's
all that.
right. I like that shit.
And also, I think between Camp and Rodriguez, I mentioned that I could have used a couple less of the little neighborhood vignettes, but they reminded me of stuff from Will Eisner, like way
Oh,
back in the Spirit. Like, you get glimpses on how people live, and I think that the art style is probably harkens back to some of that. um but it's tough because it fills the world and it creates such a mood. And the only reason I feel like I could have used less was because, again, I had to read this on a deadline. um but I do feel like it successfully builds up the story uh up to the point where it's like, yeah, of course, uh Bridget, I think her name is, John's wife. Of course,
Yeah.
Bridget's mad at him. Look at all the things he's been doing. She hasn't seen him. We've barely seen him.
or we've barely seen her.
Yeah.
I felt I felt sad for her. And like obviously, that's the point. And more like I'm seeing John to be, not that there's a good or bad or like a villain necessarily, but he's not the good guy in this story, and I'm sure the arc is that he will maybe turn around, or he fully succumbs to the alien, in which case there's this level of tragedy that we can expect, or this like rising. So I'm really interested in the story, especially the personal drama, to see how John turns his life around, if at all, if he doesn't get consumed.
I love the Martian battle that's happening in the margins of all this
Yeah.
shit. Like
Yeah.
it's really cool that that's all happening, and somehow it manages to stay in the background. Like it doesn't take up like pages and pages. It's just what's happening in the background. Like there's other things going on in the background. You see a Martian trying like shoving down the sun. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, this is an easy pick of the week, man. Great
Yeah.
comic.
This book rules.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite comic of the year. Through the four issues.
I think it's been everybody's pick of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like guaranteed at this point.
Yeah. Get ready for the pallies. Um, Mr. DC Comics with $5. Is this version of Martian Manhunter better than the New Frontier Martian Manhunter by Darwin Cook?
Yes, but I think they're in the same family. Because I think as good as his story is, in this one we're really getting to spend time with the Martian and John, whereas like we got some of that in the New Frontier, but there was so much other stuff going on. But this does feel like it's in spirit of the New Frontier.
Thank you, Mr. DC. It's always a pleasure to have you around. Of course, you appear on a DC heavy episode of the show. But we'll keep your true identity on the low. Let's see what the audience says. 38% pick of the week. Wow. Wow. 29% poll, 27% didn't buy a read. Pass is 4%.
4%. Yo, who's the op, bro? Who's the fucking white Martian?
I would love to know the difference between didn't buy and didn't read. Like, have people just not gotten to it yet? Or are there actually people who are buying this?
I think that there are probably a number of people who aren't buying it because of a multitude of factors. I think one of the things with this book is that it's an amazing book, so much word of mouth, but it's not a sexy character. Um, and I worry that that might be people's perspective. I also think people might be waiting for the trade.
I can see that.
Don't shame the passers.
Steve Canaris, self-report.
Can I address a question that was put out earlier since we're
Hit
sort
it.
of at this in between point? One of you said you wonder how the relationship is going to mend itself and how the story will end for them. I kind of hope it doesn't end well.
Hmm.
I kind of hope John succumbs to the Martian. Like, I sort of feel like that's the way this should end.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with that.
Wow, Nihilist Nico says, I'm definitely not buying it. Nothing about it at all compels me. Goofy art style. You can say ass.
Man, you think Javier Rodriguez's art style is goofy? Well, who do you like?
Wow.
Who do you like?
Yeah, I like Todd McFarlane.
Hey, kids love chains. Um, a lot of people saying that they might be trade waiting it. So, all right, that's fair. That's very fair. Uh, Kurt Wildshit says, can't discount the fact that stylized art is always divisive. People have a lot of different takes on Rodriguez's art, and he's the big draw of this book. Okay.
Yeah, see that if you don't like Rodriguez, this is not the book for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Definitely on the stylization point. Um, so many people are gonna have interpretation to what that is. So yeah, that's fair.
And Chris says, don't ban me. I don't like this story. No, we're not gonna ban you, bro. That's cool.
We might ban you. See how the night ends up.
Hey, there have been people who I thought were going to be totally cool that we ended up having to ban, but I don't think you're one of those, Chris. I think you're one of the good ones. All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fair enough. Let's jump into Absolute Wonder Woman, sticking with the Absolute books and getting into the Wonder Woman territory. You guys know the drill by now. It's Kelly Thompson with Hayden Sherman, Jordy Belair, Becca Carey on the letters. I've been asking for two things. I've been asking for a Minotaur, and I've been asking for a Labyrinth. In this issue, we got a Minotaur and we got a Labyrinth. That Minotaur talks. He's cool. I'm in.
Okay, you asked
Sold.
Kelly Thompson for something. She said, "You got it, Sean."
Love it. Love it. Yeah, Marco, go for it.
I'm glad that the Minotaur doesn't turn out to be the antagonist here. I liked that twist. I really thought we're gonna like it happening so quickly. It almost brought me down because I was like, oh damn, that all right. It wasn't they literally just walked into this thing and we're walking into it like into the situation. But the now me caring about uh this partnering, it's cool. It feels like almost like a Skyrim. You kind of just like entered the dungeon and you met this guy at the front. Yo, we gotta clear this shit out, dude. I was like, hell yeah, I'm in for an adventure now. Like I this feels fun, and I know that Kelly Thompson can deliver a fun romp like this. So I'm very excited for the rest of this. I'm glad we got away from the Doctor Poison shit.
It definitely speaks to her character that she gets suited up to find out which side she should be on. And then she's like, cool, let's kick the shit out of these dudes.
Hell yeah.
I thought this was great.
Yeah.
I thought this was a great issue. I really enjoyed it a lot. I've probably been the downest on this series, but this issue delivered pretty much everything that I wanted it to. I had one quibble about it that I'll talk about in a little bit, but I like the Dr. Poison stuff early. We get it out the way, but I enjoyed that sequence a lot where there's like maybe a reason to be sympathetic to this person because she's an agent, like she's maybe been manipulated by the government or something like that. She's in league with the government somehow. And so I'm interested in her and what her story is going to be going forward. But then we get into that labyrinth, man, and Ferdinand, I think his name is. I forgot that she had a Minotaur friend. I totally forgot about that. So when that character popped up here and I saw a Minotaur, I'm like, okay, she's gonna have to fight this fucking Minotaur. And then he said his name, and I was like, oh, that's right. She's been had a Minotaur in her life in mainline. I completely forgot about her.
Really? What, what, what,
I
Yes,
didn't know about
what
that.
run is that?
I believe it was either the Greg Rucka or the Gail Simone. It might have actually been both, but yeah, the Ferdinand the Minotaur, yeah. Unless I'm going insane, but I'm really confident I remember this character.
No, you're probably right. Yeah. That's
Um,
cool.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like outside of that, this was just set up for what the adventure is going to be. And the process of befriending, to Kale's point, where she will first give grace before she, you know, starts shit. I think was well played. So, yeah, I'm excited for the next issue. The Pit.
Yeah, I love this book.
The complaint that I have with this
Please.
issue is it's that supporting cast. That scene with them talking, I just didn't like it. And it's very short. It's a brief 2-page, I think, sequence, but they all sort of say something. And I feel like other than Steve Trevor, actually even including Steve, they're just there to ask Diana a question so she can answer it. They don't really get to express themselves too much. And even Minerva, she's smart and she knows how to translate what Diana said, but her being intelligent only allows her to engage by asking questions. Look at all her dialogue. Every single line of dialogue she has is a question that Diana answers. So I was a little frustrated by that. Like, who are these people? Where are we going with them? I'm not sold yet.
I guess, and this, I'm just throwing this out there. I could see that being sort of like because this book is from Diana's perspective. That's how she's seeing these people because she's also not paying them any mind. She's answering the questions, she's speaking to them, and she is interacting with them, but it's not like there's nothing. It doesn't seem like it's anything less than surface level. anything deeper than surface level. So to me, it's just like, yeah, these are people in her life, and they're kind of just people that are following her around, to be honest. Um, and for her, that's like she doesn't mind, and so they'll be there when she gets back.
But but I feel like Kelly Thompson is playing these to be like, I have future angles. Like these are now story webs that will continue from here. But it it doesn't feel as clean as it doesn't feel as organized, I would say, as it being placed in a narrative context. Not just, hey, I have these storylines in the wings now.
I think we were annoyed a little bit, not all of us, but some of us, I think, about Batman's supporting cast being all his
Yeah.
enemies and how much value they were even adding to the book. And I think that the difference between that and this so far is that Scott has found ways to introduce them into the plot, like into
Yeah.
what is happening. They're not just standing around. And that's the problem that I'm having with this. They need to do something meaningful or be allies to Wonder Woman in a material way, something to make their presence feel like more than attack on. Because at
Mm.
least in this issue, but I would argue maybe every issue, if you took those characters out of the narrative, it'd be the exact same.
You're saving pages.
Arguably, yeah. But that's my only criticism. Otherwise, I thought this was a phenomenal comic.
I think that's a fair criticism. Like
Yeah.
the especially when you make the comparison to Batman, you're right. They're not being used narratively. They're not being inserted into a storyline or into a segment. Like he's doing her thing, whether or not they opine. Whereas Batman has had to consider his friends and his next steps in action. They had an argument about his next steps and his actions. Him being too
Mm.
Batman AF.
They've helped him.
Right.
Pull easy. Oh, we didn't even talk about Hayden. Sorry.
Oh, for sure.
Do you guys? I put the book down. Do you guys have any
Boy,
thoughts on Hayden's work? Because
A little more subtle. Not as strong out the gate as they were, but I think that that's okay for what we have here. There was one or two moments the when we do get into the maze where it just kind of like the panels just a little bit kind of make reference to a winding road that feels very clean. But always a capable artist, always good at translating moments, but there isn't anything more beyond that, but I think that that's okay.
I also wonder if Hayden is going to do more with that as Diana gets deeper into the labyrinth. And I really hope they do, because if they don't, I think it's going to be a big miss.
Agreed.
that's what I am looking forward to
Yeah.
so much with this arc. Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking Hayden's gonna go ape shit with the labyrinth, and
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to get to that. That's gonna be cool.
I want this like bird's eye perspective. I was like pulling out, or just like, my God, where is everything?
Or wild panel work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Issue 10, I think, is probably going to deliver on some of that cool stuff. So, something to look forward to. So we all pulled, right? Yeah, well, obviously. I just ended the poll, but I'm not seeing it didn't pop up. What's going on here, YouTube?
I
You
have
guys
it.
see it? Okay, cool.
Poll 55%, didn't buy read 22%, pick of the week 17, and pass 5. That's out of a total of 40 votes.
All right.
You're strong.
All right.
This is
Okay, Nihilist Nico likes one absolute Wonder Woman. So we've established you've got taste. I'm glad we've nailed that down. I was a little worried. I was a little worried about because you didn't care. You don't like Javier Rodriguez art, but if you like absolute Wonder Woman, all right, you're in the club.
Well,
CW Gordon
watch
says
yourself.
you're on thin ice, pal. Nah, he's a good dude. CW Gordon says next issue has Diana tripping on the cover, so hopefully next issue is the one.
Hope she can get up. Hope she doesn't hurt herself. Dang.
Oh man. Um I need one of Wonder Woman's friends to start reacting more extremely to learning that magic and monsters are real. They're all too casual about it, says Kurt Wildshut. I agree with that too, to some degree.
I think the only one that hasn't seen it so far is Barbara. And I think she's so science minded that she's looking for the scientific approach. Like she's like blind to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they just saw the Tetracide. Like, is magic gonna surprise him now?
Well, but I mean, you got to think like the other two, and this is probably a bad sign. The two characters whose names I don't know,
Go ahead.
uh, are they were running like a witch potion shop,
Right.
So like
Right.
I don't really. I think that's kind of. I think we're a little bit past that point.
Yeah. Luna says Ed Candy.
I I think it might be Etta
Yeah.
Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is my YouTube fucked up? All right. Um, let's move on to the next book. Let's get into the book that won the poll this week. I was a little surprised, but I guess it shouldn't be. It is Justice League Unlimited, after all, a very big title, and that you guys are very excited about. I want to let you know, though, that before we dive into the review, that there is a poll up right now for next week's books. And you can find that under our YouTube channel on the post tab. The books you can vote for right now are Green Goblin #1, Bring on the Bad Guys, Green Goblin, Ultimate Wolverine #7, which is leading the poll, Resurrection Man Quantum Karma #4, and Gotham City Sirens Unfit for Orbit #1. So some pretty interesting options this week, I think.
It's a weird one. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Gotham City Sirens. Punchline, isn't
Ooh,
it?
is that why?
Well, Leah Williams did a Gotham City Sirens 4-issue mini last summer, and it was really good. So I'm hoping she can pull the same magic off with this one.
It's the Leo Williams of it. That's what it is.
You don't like Leah Williams?
Well, you like her as a writer.
I, yes, yes, I do. Yes, she is quite talented. Thank you, Marco. Um,
Look, Resurrection Man for me.
Same, yeah, same. Resurrection Man. Fingers crossed.
it's gonna be Ultimate Wolverine. Let's be honest. Let's be honest today.
I'm not mad. Yeah, I'm not mad about that.
Um, Oh, Maddie, Maddie, I'm watching you guys as I'm doing this show, by the way. Madeline says, we're
What the
live right
hell?
now, but I'm popping in to let Sean know I miss him. I miss you too. I hope you're well. I've actually been thinking about reaching out to you to talk about another collab, so hopefully you're down for that. And I hope you guys are having a good evergreen stream right now.
What do you mean you're watching them while you're doing this? What the
They're
hell?
they're they're doing I listen, I am a multitasker like you wouldn't believe. And so I've just got, all right, let's talk Justice League Unlimited #8. Mark Waid and Dan Mora, the creative team that won't quit. Ariana Mayer and Tamra Bonvillain on the letters and colors, respectively. Um, this is the We Are Yesterday finale. And these characters have been through the ringer. Gorilla Grodd, who refers to himself as Gorilla God, which I felt like that's the reason he was chosen for this position, was just to be able to say that. Because how cool does that sound? But this devolves, I guess, and I don't mean that in a negative way, into a big fight. The ending of this event is a massive fight involving multiversal heroes and villains. There are a lot of fun for me. I don't know how everybody else feels. Inclusions in this. Like, did you guys catch uh New 52 Batman is here? I thought that
Oh
was
yeah.
cool. Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Marco's favorite, Batman Beyond.
Hell yeah! I popped off hard. I said, "Oh, this is my guy."
Cale, is this a particular version? Maybe Marco will know as well. Is this a particular version of Aquaman that you guys recognize?
Yeah, this was when Aquaman was hardcore because I think Black Manta had killed his son and took his hand. And
Okay.
he went, fuck the world. I'm gonna put a hook on my hand.
Either Milligan or Rick Veitch,
Yeah.
one of those two.
90s, 2000s,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah. Good run, good stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Hook and Water Hand Aquaman are cool.
We also had Joshua Williamson era Flash. I like that a lot. I popped for him. This one here.
Yeah, yeah. T-shirt. And now, you know what? I'm gonna make this call. Underrated costume decision for practicality, elbow and knee pads.
I love that.
I listen, I work a very physical job. And if I could walk around in elbow and knee pads all day, you know what? I think I probably would.
You can slip those bad boys under your jeans, man. You get
Maybe
them
I
knee pads
should.
going. You ever see Stone Cold Steve Austin, the wrestler? He used to have
Nope.
his knees double strapped up with knee pads and knee braces.
Oof. Smart.
Yep.
Smart.
Um, did you guys read the prior? Like, how connected to this event have you been?
I haven't been interested in the Justice League parts. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm not as hyped as everybody else is. I think with the more art and especially the coloring, like it's very like pop art, very bright, very loud, and I think that that can work. But because of that, I haven't been excited for following Justice League. So I pop in and out more so for the Batman and Superman stuff.
Wow. I have been fairly disconnected. Actually, I was kind of hoping we would follow this on the show, and we haven't had the opportunity. Uh, so this issue was a bit of a clusterfuck for me. Not in a bad way, you know. I think, well, I like it all. But I think like the problem that I have with it is that a lot of the stuff that happens feels a bit like Dragon Ball Z nonsense. Like the stuff, actually on the page. It's so big and it's moving too fast and laser beams are going everywhere. And it's just like, I don't totally understand what is even happening. Like, I get big picture. Okay, they're defeating Grodd. They're taking his telekinesis out of his brain by, I don't know, punches or whatever the fuck. Um, I get macro, but micro, I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is even happening here?
I hear you. I definitely hear you. I actually had a lot of fun with this. Maybe I was just in a good mood. I have been connected to this event, so that could also be a factor. Um, but I had a lot of fun with this. I like Rod as the sort of like big bad. I think that's a fun change because we never really get that. Him empowered by the Omega energy adds a little bit of bite, and having Martian Manhunter's psychic abilities makes him a formidable sort of threat, which I enjoyed. But there is a lot of like everybody's fodder. All the villains are fodder. Even a lot of the
Yeah.
heroes are just there because it's cool that they're there. There's not actually a lot of story. And I don't think that's not true if you've been reading the whole event. It's
Sure.
not a story-based event, really. Um,
Mm.
Grodd's got these powers. He goes to the past to get these villains, brings them to the present to take down the Justice League, and basically do exactly what we see happen here.
Yeah.
And the core Justice League got sucked into the past, so they had to bring in multiversal heroes to help out, and that's about it. Other than
Mhm.
that, it's toy smashing together.
And that's always like not not that it's bad, but that's never the thing that I enjoy about the superheroes. So
Yeah.
Hit or miss. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and for me, just largely like that's just not my bag for it. cool to see some of the like. I definitely did pop off for Aquaman. I definitely did pop off for Batman and Batman Beyond. Like there are people here that made a lot of sense. But outside of that,
The other thing that's important to talk about is the fact that by the end of this, the time displaced heroes are stuck.
Mm.
So go ahead.
Leading to uh which I guess is our final page reveal or whatever, but leading to these super special DC words, a crisis in time.
Uh, and Mark Waid teased that when he was here with us.
Yeah.
He talked about how time would be messed up post We Are Yesterday. So we did get that. He wasn't lying.
and again, then we just have the Dark Crisis.
This would be a Mark Waid crisis though. Like this one will be
That'll be good.
That's that. Come on, bro.
we're don't worry, Marco. We got full guns going this time.
We got the guy.
We got the guy, we got the characters, we've got the entirety of the universe at our fingertips now. We're not in Rebirth. We don't have to worry about the new 52. This we have everything. This is gonna rule.
I wouldn't let whatever you think about this event color what you think about Mark Waid writing events, because I very much do believe this was just for fun. I don't think this was ever intended to be more than that. And to get time in DC to a place. As weird as that sounds. So yeah. But for me, this is a pull. I enjoyed this event a lot. I thought it was quite fun. It's not typically my cup of tea, but it's Mark Waid and Dan Mora. I love the art. I think his Wonder Woman in this book is fucking crazy looking. Like she is so amazing looking. I am in awe of this man. I really am. Dan Mora is a beast. His Grodd is amazing looking.
I really love the two panels of Wally haunting Grodd
Oh yeah.
while he's being
Yo,
held by the that like it's so good. And he goes to hide behind Barry, just like when he would have been Kid Flash. But
Yeah.
also like that Flash, that new Flash suit looks so good. Man, that's a good suit.
it's growing on me actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a pull.
I'm a pass. I'll maybe jump back in, after the event. Well, I guess the next issue, but a pass. Not because it's bad. It's not my flavor.
I think I am gonna pull. I did have a good time, and the art is definitely there to do, the heavy lifting. Even though I didn't totally, I don't think it was as clear, like the of what is supposed to be happening on the page. Like you get what you need to get. And really, this is just a showcase of, oh, look at all the toys coming together and doing the whole thing. And Dan Mora draws the hell out of them.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. The poll has now closed. Marco, can you read off the results there?
Got pull 53, didn't buy, read 26, pass 16, and pick of the week 3%. Overwhelmingly good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Steve Canara says Mark Waid pulls out his action figure collection and throws them at each other and wrote a story about it. It was fun. Yeah. Yeah. That's really all there is to it.
I hope he has an Airwave action figure.
I hope he has a sideways action figure.
No, he doesn't have one of those.
I don't know if anyone does, actually, now that I think about it. That might not exist.
I bet one person does, and I bet it's Tyler.
Oh man. All right, we're gonna get into DC now, or Marvel now. We're gonna get away from DC. Smash the like button for the
No.
last two books we've got on the docket. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. We are not done having fun by a long shot. So let's keep things going. Uh Ultimate Spider-Man number 18, written by Jonathan Hickman with guest artist Marco Cicchetto. Oops, I mean regular series artist Marco Cicchetto. We also, of course, have Corey Pettit on the letters and colors by Eric Arciniega. So, I'm going to be honest, I don't actually really remember what happened in the last issue. Oh, no. It was that Harry was back. Harry was back.
Yeah, Harry.
That's genuine.
Yeah. Mysterio's all that shit. I
Right.
Sure, sure. I'm sure it's genuine. So
Um,
memorable.
well, I mean, there you go. That's why I don't remember it, I guess. But so this one sees Peter and Harry reunite, and they've got a mission. They need to go back to New York and see what's going on. And so, of course, Peter's wife and family are completely fine with him exiting stage left, and going and taking on this mission. Meanwhile, the Mysterios are aware that their little secret cabal could be at risk, and they may need to take greater action. Peter learns that fucking Doc Ock has been living in his house and wearing his slippers, which is one of the most like uncomfortable things I have ever seen in a Spider-Man comic.
As someone who has recently gotten super into slippers, this is the most connected I felt to this title. Like Tyler keeps saying I look just like Ultimate Peter Parker. This is the most I felt like Ultimate Peter Parker. If another man was in my house in my slippers, man,
problems.
That's the height of disrespect. I don't even wear slippers, and I felt like, wow, that's fucking disrespectful.
bro, let me tell you, as an elder, y'all guys get into slippers. They rule.
I've been thinking about it.
My feet sweat.
Mine too.
Socks. I tell you, trust me. Get you some nice fuzzy slippers and socks.
I don't know.
Look, I wouldn't steer you wrong. I'm living the life.
That sounds mad sweaty, bro.
Nah, nah.
All right. Well, Peter got his slippers stepped in, and that was rude. But otherwise, what did you guys think of this issue?
Uh, glad Harry and Peter are back together.
Nice.
Great.
Leave Mary Jane again.
His boyfriend came back into town. What are you gonna do?
That's right. That's right. His lover.
Yeah, like the most interesting thing for me is when we learn Richard gets on the plane and he goes after Felicia, right? And he's in the lair of the Kingpin. She stabbed him in the back. That's a cool 8th grade storyline. Shame it's not going to pay off.
It's my nature.
Yeah, woof.
That was rough.
That means she's a bitch.
Wow.
She's 12. I
God.
just like, I got to the end of this and I went, man, it's it's more the same.
A little bit of panic did settle in until Kingpin was like, "Actually, I'm not here for you. I know your buddy Spider-Man." Like, what? Right?
Um, Up until now, I haven't been quite sure what I was going to say about this comic because I loved looking at it, first of all. I think this is one of the best looking issues so far. the montage double pager where we see Harry and Spider-Man just beating the shit out of people. I thought that was pretty rad. Spider-Man swinging through the streets looked fantastic. Marco Cicchetto draws his ass off in this comic. Mary Jane looks fantastic. Just everything looks great. And I like the twist at the end. For some dumb reason, I didn't see Black Cat betraying him to the Kingpin. I don't know why.
Yeah, I no, I didn't either.
Um, and so I like this comic. I really like it was fine. Like I enjoyed it well enough. It's just I don't know. I don't want to go down the same road we always go down when we talk about this book. But at the same
Better
time,
we better talk about a different book.
it's kind of tough. I don't know. I enjoyed this issue. I told you guys last time. I'm trying to review this book issue by issue and not think about anything else. But when you reach a cliffhanger like this, and you know that the next issue is going to take place, next month, it's kind of like, well, it's hard to get up for this then,
I think
right?
I think if we're just looking at the issue, I've started to think about this the way that I did Zeb Wells's Spider-Man run. The issue works. It's fine. It's constructed well. We get the cliffhanger. We get the return of these two friends. There's an emotional beat to whatever degree that it works for you, but um, eh, but I'm no longer interested in what the grander story is here. Um, the machinations involved don't feel like they're as interesting. Like the Mysterio parts are meant to be suspenseful and like, oh, there's stuff playing in the background, but the long game of that, I actually feel it. I feel how long it is.
That Mysterio shit, for me personally, has lost all intrigue from the second that they revealed that all the other members that we get to see are just New York people that were in the book already.
Just people we've already met. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess the last one being, I assume, Vanessa Kingpin. Vanessa Kingpin
sure.
Fisk. Vanessa Fisk.
Yeah.
I called her Vanessa Kingpin. That's funny.
Dr.
What a
Hot Dog,
what a guy.
Vanessa Kingpin.
Um I guess that's who that's supposed to be. That's a little interesting, but I mean, that's to me that's sort of as interesting as uh Richard getting a spider suit. It's like okay, everybody around us is gonna get powers and
I would argue it's less interesting because in mainline she's betrayed him as well.
yeah.
So we're kind of just like doing the same thing we've seen in the past. I don't know. I don't know. This book is an odd duck to talk about.
And even still, that means that Wilson is being manipulated by three Mysterios at once. Am I crazy?
So he's being manipulated by his wife, his handler, like his assistant guy,
Yeah.
and
It's the third being Gwen, but
the Mysterio entity itself as an ally to Kingpin, because that's a Secret Six member.
Right. Yeah.
wild.
This dude's dumb. He doesn't know anybody who's around him. They need to explore that actually.
They won't.
Oh.
They can't. They're restrained.
Chichetto's on the next issue, so nothing's gonna happen.
Rip.
He is on the next issue?
Yep.
I'm surprised.
Hey, listen.
Look at that.
I'm a pull. I'm not gonna lie. I had enough fun with this to say I want to know more. I want to see more. I am frustrated in the same ways that we have been since almost the word go. But as an individual 22-page comic, I cannot sit here and say that I didn't enjoy what I read.
Yes, I can say that.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're someone who has my proclivities. I'm also pass. Not doing much for me. it functions. It works. That's separate from how I feel about it.
Man, I don't know if it does.
Like as a contained issue, I can give this to somebody. They're gonna consume it, understand. You know, there's some backstory here, but like it will be communicated to them the ideas that are discussed here. That is functional.
Well, we know this is a big hit with the listening audience, so let's see what they had to say. 54% of you say pull, didn't buy or read is 29%, pass is 12%, and pick of the week 4%.
That's still a solid positive, but I feel like that's quite a bit less pick of the week.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's less pick of the week than we typically see for this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna address the super chat. Entertain me with $2 says Richard did a Marco thinking with his you know what. Hey now. Hey now.
We done been new.
Crazy.
Marco only just came out of puberty, so
Yeah. Crazy what becomes memes, huh?
It's actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Bro.
That happened. That's like almost a decade old at this point.
That's lore.
That's crazy. I love it, man. And I just got around to fucking Celsius. God. Just trying too hard.
John B says selection bias. People who are reading this like me are enjoying it, and those who stopped enjoying it aren't reading it. So the numbers make sense.
I mean, I guess it is issue 18. Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess then the percentage of pull to pick of the week is the thing, right? Like, how stand out is it amongst the population that still reads it? That is minimizing.
Right. And again, that's not that big of a deal in a world where there are so many great comics right now. For it to not be someone's pick of the week isn't crazy. It doesn't mean the sky is falling for the title or people's enjoyment of it. It just means that it's a weaker issue for those individuals who really enjoy the book. That's fine.
Which is crazy because I like, in theory, I could see the things that happen being exciting for those people, I think. But, again, to me, it's just like, it's hard to get up for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Maracas Girl says this title needs a relaunch after the event. Well, we're going to be talking about that on Saturday. Because there is some scuttlebutt that people are taking to mean that the Ultimate Universe is actually coming to an end with issue 24. So
Whoa, 6 more issues.
could you fucking imagine? Could you imagine?
Yeah, I can. And you know what? That's the world I want to live in.
But like, for real, could you, after all this,
Yes.
after all of this,
I can absolutely imagine. I want to be there. You think I'm joking? I'm 100% with you right now. I'm not having a good time reviewing this book, and we do it week after week.
Oh my God. Oh man. I just can't. Chat, can you imagine if this series ended in 6 issues from now? Like, does it feel like a series that's on the verge of ending?
Like, can you? All right. Can you imagine the Spider-Man's only villain is the Kingpin, and he barely fights him, and that's the series. All the cool things that make Spider-Man Spider-Man, his relationship with Mary Jane, his relationship with Harry, Aunt May, great power, great responsibility. I'm gonna take a swipe at Kingpin. Oh, look out, my kids. End.
Finn.
Hi. It doesn't even feel like a book that's about to transition creative teams,
Yep.
let alone end. Like what? Excuse me? Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah, the maker's coming, and are you telling me we're not gonna have Spider-Man here to fucking fight this dude? Like,
It feels, you know what? It feels so unbothered about that situation too,
yep.
that that's gonna feel so jarring. Like, I forgot you said that, and I know that this is part of the Ultimate Universe, but I know that the Ultimates are the one that are like are worried about it.
I
And
said that, and it registered for me
yeah,
too.
yeah, I'm like, wait a second, that's right. The Maker affects Spider-Man. What?
Oh man. We'll see. We'll see. Marowak Oscuro says a creative change is needed. The month issues don't work, nor does Hickman's long-term storytelling. I would say that the month-to-month strategy, the way the book has played out, has hampered this book tremendously. But I don't think that, like, I think if you stripped that, it would be a totally different book. But if you strip that and let it play out more like a traditional monthly comic does, I think it probably functions pretty solid. There are decisions here that are frustrating even in that world, but that's a world I'd much rather live in.
But oh, we've talked about it. The decisions are bound to the constraint of the month. Like,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. $5 from Dex Baker. What's up, Dex? Haven't seen you in a little bit. I
Whoa.
hope you're doing well. I've mentioned it at my LCS that something feels finite about the Ultimate Universe, especially comparing to Absolute. They thought I was crazy, but
I think it's the I mean the finite part is that we have a timeline. We have a deadline for the maker to come back, and that's our end goal.
mm,
For absolute, like the for absolute, the overall like line doesn't have a constraint on it. Whereas all the all in part of DC, the regular mainline stuff, Justice League and Superman, like those things do feel like they're dealing with that stuff. I think it is sort of that circle motif that we got in the what it was it the all in special or whatever.
yeah.
Absolute is running on this curve, but all in is dealing with the consequences on the bottom end of the curve, and it's actually making the world go round.
It's crazy how they're scraping every bit of value out of the all-in like renaissance, I guess, at DC. It's crazy.
the weight
And
is
it's
on.
working,
Yeah.
or feels
Yeah.
like it's working. And
Absolutely.
yeah, Hayden points out there's no rush to go save Booster Gold because who gives a shit?
He's your boy, dude. What?
It's not my boy.
Air Harlem is right. The Ultimate Universe has been running for about a year longer, to be fair. You're right about that. But let me ask you this question. Does it actually feel and this is like so off topic, but I gotta ask, does it actually feel like the Ultimate Universe has been running for longer in terms of meaningful things that have happened? Not to me.
That's me. Trying to think how many DC events, sort of lowercase events, like happenings in the DC universe have we seen related to, you know, the Omega Dark Side thing since it happened.
We Are Yesterday,
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess. I mean,
that's it.
We yesterday's
tangentially,
the
yeah.
current one, yeah. I feel like the All In special, obviously, that was the kickoff,
I mean, I
and I
would just
feel like
say
there
from that
was
point,
worlds.
like,
Well, from that point, yeah, that
right,
was the
yeah,
kickoff, yeah.
right.
But I feel like there have been one or two more in between all that.
But I think similarly, like if we're thinking about all in the way that we have the Ultimates or sorry, Justice League in the way of all in addressing the big pieces and the larger machinations. The Ultimates is doing that for the Ultimate Universe. Everything else is kind of like existing around that. That they play into each other. But those are the two that are like the flagship leading the context and narrative there. Whereas I think you called it out, Cale. The Absolute books aren't. They're well and good, just living their lives, doing their things, and that is functional. And I think this book, Ultimate Spider-Man, is trying to live its life and do its thing. But it's locked. It has. You can feel the gravity of the maker, and you can feel the gravity of the ultimate situation, as opposed to the freedom and almost like frolicking that the Absolute books have.
Yeah, like what Uncaged is saying. Good to see you, dude. He's saying, Challengers, Watchtower, Atom Project, those are books that spun out of the Absolute, the All-In Special.
Yeah.
And I like if you actually read them, right? They have things to do with the bigger narrative and story. So they fill in certain pieces. And that, while they may not be considered events, they feel like stuff you should read.
Mm.
That's connected to everything else if you care. And if you don't care, like if you choose not to read Challenges of the Unknown, it's not like you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. But if you did read it, you'll have read a fun story that will add to the overall narrative. It's what we want.
Air Harlem says, "Good point. Absolute Batman, Superman are all in their second story arcs, where the Ultimate books feel like one long arc." And I definitely feel that. Like,
Totally.
there's just this singularity, like monolith, where the
Yeah.
other stuff feels a little more arc to arc, month to month comics.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into our last book of the night, as far as official reviews are concerned. The Uncanny X-Men number 16, written by Gail Simone, with art by David Marquez. And Luciano Vecchio on art as well. Colors by Matt Wilson, letters by Clayton Cowles. So this storyline has really brought into the fold a lot of new players. We've got the Lady Henrietta, we've got Shuvarak, um, you know, the kids, the outlier kids are still in the fray. And so this issue is a big fight and a big like basically trying to get out of this hellhole they've been in. And it's kind of a push and pull situation that merges all of the stuff with Lady Henrietta and the racism angle that they were playing on from the past, along with the way mutants were treated in the past, which I guess technically is still racism. Um, um, with some of the modern stuff, and they have to make a decision about whether or not they're willing to fight a god to get out of this place, the god who is sort of a jailer here. What did you guys think about this closeout issue of the arc?
Now this one I had trouble with because I hadn't read the rest of them.
Mhm.
Um, they're in these funny costumes. You know, Wolverines in slutty PVC leather, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, this was wild. Um, I yeah, this I kind of had neither heads nor tails. The art was crazy good. I'm looking at this uh page with Wolverine where he says, "I guess we're fighting a damn god then."
Yeah.
And I'm about that. But yeah, for me, like I otherwise just kind of didn't really totally get what was going on.
Same. Dropped just kind of dropped into this issue, which I think was okay because I remember us reading that first part and kind of drawing the parallels, like the lines through this.
Mm,
But beyond that, like the small details, what I feel like were emotional moments that should have paid off, kind of didn't land for me. But I noticed them. I could see them, and that felt functional. The first 2 pages, though, all bright and colorful, and then going straight into the dark, that was jarring. Cool to see Man Thing, and I liked how they used his powers and to kind of like
You fucking would.
resolve everything. They who know fear. Cool.
This arc for me was uneven. I think I probably largely enjoyed this issue, maybe the most of the issues in this particular arc. Um, I did have a handful of problems with it. I'm getting more used to the kids being around and kind of digging them a little bit more, the outliers. But I'm still struggling with their names and some of their powers, and I don't know. We're 16 issues in, and I'm still not sold on them. So that probably just means I'm not going to be sold on them. Go ahead, Marco.
Um, I interesting. Because I had that thought while I was reading, where I'm like, oh, I don't remember their names, but I am getting more familiar with them.
Yeah.
I couldn't find horse girl for the life of me, so I'm assuming she wasn't in the mix, or like at some point she was, because there was a horse.
No, she's the white
She's
girl.
here. Yeah.
She
You're being
looks.
thrown off by the costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there was a horse, and I was like, okay, that was it, but presumably that was the same.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, otherwise, I think it was just the costume pieces. But you're right that they're being around. I think it's been building that frequency. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we're getting to know more so. I still don't feel like I know what they're about. And I haven't been reading the book, to be fair. This is issue, so, that's a separate issue.
You've been reading it. We've probably reviewed all but like maybe 3 issues of this.
Like here and there, yeah. But I still don't feel like I know what they're about.
Yeah. I've read every issue of this and I agree with you. Like other people like them more than I do. So it's not, my opinion is definitely not fact or anything, but I don't care about these kids. Like the book is, they're there. So I have to see them and like get cool with them, I guess. But like, they're just not connecting for me.
The most I felt anything about them was the first issue of this arc, I think, where they come across the obelisk or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I really liked that issue. Maybe I would like this arc, but I didn't get around to it.
There was a weird moment. I don't know. Maybe it read weird to me only, but I had to double back because I was like, "What the fuck? Did I miss something?" The page where Wolverine says, "Oh well, guess we got to fight a god." Cool page, cool panel. I was like, "All right, cool." I turned the page, and in no way, shape, or form is he fighting a god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kisses the hand. I thought something happened. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
I thought the page order was fucked up.
Same.
Yeah.
That was such a weird beat. Like he has that moment of being like, all right, time to fight. And they don't actually start fighting for like another 3 pages. Um, I don't know. Gail's writing is good. I like she manages to get some good beats in there. I liked Lady Henrietta in the end. I didn't like her as much at first because I was like, oh, cool. We're gonna talk about race. Not that there's a problem with talking about race. It just feels very like, all
In the
right, now,
racism book.
yeah, I don't always love that vibe, and I say that, as someone who's read quite a bit of racism books. But like she ended up being decent. She's an interesting inclusion. But ultimately, I'm still not sure what this book is. And that's the problem that I have with this and almost every other X-Men book. I get why these characters are together. They're together because X means safe. And these kids need a safe haven, and these X-Men need a safe haven from everything that happened in Krakoa. And so they found each other found family. And that's how it justifies itself. But like that has been the story for the last 16 issues. We have no overarching like narrative thread to follow. There's no villain. There's nothing centralized to hang your hat on. So I'm struggling.
Yep.
I hear that, especially if this is like meant. This is Uncanny. This is like the flagship X-Men book.
Yep.
I finally got to the point where Exceptional X-Men is caught up like on the app to where I was. I'm having fun with that one, man.
Exceptional is exceptional.
Yeah, it's good. And this is not of that caliber, and this is the Uncanny X-Men book. I think definitely like not having that narrative through line hurts this. And again, like that beginning part was meant to say something about the X-Men. Then we just get them dealing with shit. Hopefully we come back to the the above world and looks like everything's all happy and stuff, but um then we get the tag at the end. Mutina is coming.
Oof.
Yo.
I don't know. I don't know what Chris Claremont junk drawer they Gale found that one in, but I think I'm cool not picking this one up.
So
Yeah.
Mutina looks like a combination of a Five Nights at Freddy's character and Megan, the movie robot.
Yep.
That's what Mutina looks like to me. Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
Um the usage of the word mutate felt dirty.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
I know, but like felt extra dirty.
You know what it reminded me of, and not in a bad way. This was fine. It reminded me of what it would be like if you took a black person from 1960, 1950, and you brought them to now, and they heard that black people are referred to as black, they would be
Mm.
like, "Whoa, that's weird," and they would think in their minds probably Negro.
Oh
So
Mm.
shit.
she was like auto corrected to Negro because that's what her reference point is, but it's actually black. Mutate, mutant. That's how I
Yeah.
took that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
Um, I, and you know what? Just to throw it out there, David Marquez art, still great. As rare as it feels like we get it these days, he's a killer.
That Wolverine panel, dope as hell.
Yep. Yep. Um, I'm gonna pull. I say pull.
Pass.
Why do you pull?
I pull because I think this was a solid enough ending to the arc. It was my favorite issue of the arc. I really, really like the art. I think David Marquez is a beast. Like I said, I like Lady Henrietta. You guys talked about it, so I didn't. But the men thing part where he fucking flies
Mm.
through and hits that guy, I thought that was sick as shit. And I liked his inclusion all throughout.
She said, "Oh, you're afraid? I've got a thing for that."
Yeah, that was cool.
Those are my reasons.
Mm. Yeah. I I wish I had the time to finish this arc because, like I said, I did really enjoy that first issue. But yeah, I think having to jump on issue 4, the end of the arc, I have to pass.
That's fair. Yeah. Let's see where. Oh, uh-oh. All right, listen. We might need to have a talk, chat, because
Wow.
25% pull, or excuse me, didn't buy or read. 66%. Pull 25%, pass 5%, pick of the week 2%. So you guys aren't even reading this. And last time
Mm.
we said, do you guys want us to take Uncanny X-Men off the docket or put it in the poll or keep reviewing it? And you guys wanted us to keep reviewing it. But now it looks like you guys have all jumped ship. So what are we talking about?
On a Marvel podcast?
I do sort of think somebody said it earlier, and I felt this way a little bit when we talked about it on Pal's previews, but uh, they were surprised that Uncanny X-Men was on the show this week.
Hmm. Yeah, that's valid. I mean, behind the scenes, it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be Hush 2, but that's delayed. So this was
Right.
next
That's
up.
right.
It wasn't even going to be on the show or the poll. So
Wow, we're getting a lot of put it on the polls at least. A couple drop its.
I see,
Wow.
yeah, yep. Poll, drop it, didn't read it, drop it, take X-Men off. Sean Ali said, take X-Men off. No more X-Men at all. It's cooked.
I get that.
Super
I
job.
get that.
Yeah, I like Super Job, man. Don't blame me. I'm new here. Hey,
Yeah,
no,
Super
it is,
Job's
man.
awesome.
Did you read this book though? Yo, Patrick Zay, you're right, bro. Put on Sonic and DC.
No,
it's the
don't
last
do
issue,
that.
Last issue thing.
Chop Harder Alchemist, I keep buying it and not wanting to read it. I think I'm buying out the hope that something will hit like early Krakoa again. Sadly, nope.
Even Hickman ain't gonna hit like that again.
My guy.
All right, this is what I'll say. The Hellfire Gala Vigil is impending. I think it's next week. That is going to shake things up. It has to. Now, I don't know what Mutina is going to bring to Uncanny X-Men, but I have to imagine that after the Vigil, there will be a unified change in direction. And if there's not, then I, as a literal lifelong X-Men fan, will have to say goodbye to at least one of the only two X-Men titles I'm still reading, this and Exceptional. I can't keep going like this.
Really think we're gonna get a change in direction?
I'm not even sure I think that. I'm saying it has to be.
I see.
Because if it's not, then what the fuck?
Chop Harder says no more X-Men books. Scarlet Witch. Just there's nothing here. Like my favorite X guy's not even here. I like Gambit now. What is the world coming to?
Blame
what it
Gavin
is.
for that.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin.
C.W. Gordon says Psylocke rules. Yeah, well, Psylocke's going to rule until it hits issue 10, and then it's going bye-bye. I'm not kidding. It's done.
Not for Sean's collection, of course, but it's not going to be on the show.
Yeah. No, it's just Psylocke is canceled. It's gone.
Like C.W. Gordon, Hellfire Vigil. Let's terraform the sun.
Hell yeah. Oh, man. Mystic says, I was excited for the new DC history book until you guys crapped all over it. Just kidding. If it doesn't affect anything going forward, then I might not read it after all. Judge for yourself, dude.
This type of thing tends to not affect things, but I do think we will get little glimpses of the future, but I think they'll only be small little things that we can kind of pick on.
I would love for that to be the case. And again, Hound, Atomic Hound, who loves Golden Age comics, adored this issue. He said he was going to be reading it before bed for the rest of his life. So it's a generational thing as well. For me, this didn't play because I don't care about this era.
Yeah. I love this era. There are even fucking sidekicks in that book that got me hyped. I've never even heard of these people. What was it? The one that kidnapped them all, the childminder?
Oh, something like that.
That thing was fucking terrifying. That was the bad guy from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Woof.
Oh, what's up, Jesse? Jesse, good to see you. Jesse says it's hard out here for X-Men fans. Dude, it is. It is. Yep. Rami Darwish with the 199. Superman is pick of the week for me. Okay.
Nice.
Superman's been on a roll, so I'm not surprised by that. Steve Canaris, at what point does a line get a new editor?
When the editor's not Tom Brevoort.
Right. Like, Tom Brevoort is the editor of Marvel. He's
Yep.
not getting replaced. There's no one to replace him.
He thinks this is all great, I guess.
He does. You know why he does? Because this was all his vision. I feel like every book we're seeing is Tom Brevoort's vision for X-Men. Not in the sense that he's dictating every nook and cranny of story, but that he has definitely said, this is the place that I want these characters to be in.
Yeah.
I want, Psylocke to have a book. Why? Who knows? I want a Phoenix book specifically in space. Why? Because I want it. Like, it's just what Tom wants. Whether it's right or wrong, it's what Tom wants. We couldn't have Cable or Bishop because Tom didn't want them. They were cut off. They were not allowed to be a part of any of these books. I know Cable got the Love and Chrome, but that's a separate thing.
Hmm.
I'm not even making that up. This is what Tom himself said in his own newsletter. He didn't want them.
Oh, Cable and Bishop. Yeah.
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 So if you're waiting for a new editor, you're going to be waiting a while.
At least until the movies come out.
Yeah.
If past that, dude.
Yeah.
Patrick Zay, our unified pick of the week was Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Come on. When that book comes out, what other thing is it going to be?
MD Johnny Thomas cooking. Cooking what? That's what I want to know.
Oh, Brevoort. I thought you meant King. I'm like, read a King book?
Dude, if it's for you, it's for you. I am very cool with that. If you're digging it, what we're talking about right now is just our opinions, but yeah, more power to you if you like what's going on right now. I can't get into it. I can't get jiggy with this shit.
What is your favorite book, MD Johnny? X-Men book, obviously. Or book under Tom Brevoort's.
Banksy Man cooking crack.
Well, we know that's not true because we're not addicted to it.
Yeah, bro, listen, if you've ever been in the vicinity of somebody on crack, you would understand the difference between when someone is cooking crack and when they're cooking this. I can't wait to put these books down.
Anti-crack.
Right. This is, yeah, yep. That's very funny though, Banksy. Okay. We're gonna get into the stack here in just a moment. That's the last segment we've got to do. So get those numbers rolling in, please. Please and thank you. Cale, is it hot where you are?
We just came out of a heat wave, and I think we're going into one. So not this second, like it's definitely summer, but we're right smack in between two heat waves.
New York has been hot as fuck. And I'm not going to redo my bit from last week to talk about body odor. But yo, New Yorkers, PSA to all, please. Rock the deodorant, please.
Hey, you know what? Stay home.
Stay home if anything. I'm not even talking about the LCS right now. I'm talking about the train station. I'm talking about the streets.
Call in sick, wherever you gotta go.
Please.
It don't matter.
Yeah, please. It's rough. Times are hard.
Man, I don't miss summer in New York. Woo.
Yeah, I had to go pick up my parents' airport last night. So I went over to their place to use their car, and I got caught like, like when the garbage truck is on its route, and I was walking in the same direction, and
Oof.
the mugginess, the heat, plus you just feel like it's like boiling over. Ugh. and it caught me for like 3 blocks. Oh,
I have to go to the Bronx next week, and I
for
am
what?
genuinely scared. Like, I don't want, like, the smell in the Bronx during the summer is it's airborne death.
Oof.
Like, it's like, how is this even possible? It's the combination of garbage, ass, um, drug, disease. It's just all melding together to make this nasty,
Mhm.
like, what's the word for smell? Olfactory. It's this nasty, like, olfactory violence that
Very
hits you. Yes.
stench.
Great metaphor for it. Olfactory violence.
Thank you. Yeah, this is just
Yeah.
really rough. Really rough.
Yo, where in the Bronx you gonna be?
The Grand Concourse area.
Oh
Drop the
shit.
address.
I know, right?
Yo, Grand Concourse. That's crazy. I'm being Castle Hill.
You're gonna be having a much better time than I will. I'll tell you that much. That is a guarantee. That combination sounds putrid. It fucking is, Banksy.
I recently figured out how much my job hates me.
Oh,
They so like the toy store, right, it's a warehouse, right? It's just you go in and you shop. Um, but yeah, they have big fans. It's like, all right, well, there's that. And then during a heat wave, they get us like water and they put it in the fridge and it's good and cold and popsicles and everything. And I was like, okay, all right, we'll get through this. But this week, I had to go to the pet store, which is like it's like a strip mall situation, you know. Had to go to the pet store two uh doors down. Same building, same architecture. They've got fucking air conditioning.
Well, they gotta take care of dogs.
Well,
You're not there. Not equal. What do you?
I'm gonna say something right now. All right, as a dog owner, okay, I love my dog. If my dog gets AC, I get fucking AC. Humans need AC. Dogs do too, but not before humans.
Not before.
Not before.
nah, I don't know about
No.
that.
We sweat.
Listen,
Sorry, like they've got fucking fur coats on.
I'm all with you. I am all with you on that. My dog, she pants like crazy. Okay? We had to get her shaved down.
Oh yeah, yeah,
If he gets it, I get it for sure.
yeah, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
There shouldn't be AC in the dog spot, but not the human spot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I walked in there and it was like heaven. I walked in there and I went, can I get a job application?
Yeah.
I I'm so mad.
You got an opening. I'm a manager, bro.
You remember the fucking page in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers when I think it might even be Bendis, but it's Bendis when he joins the team and he's like, "Wait, you guys pay?" And then he
Yeah.
hugs Iron
Yep.
Man.
Yep. We
It's
have
like,
money.
wait.
We have money. Yep. Yep. That's me constantly. But now
Oh,
air conditioning is part of that.
right. Yep. Oh man, that's funny. Patrick Zay, did y'all see the Final Fantastic Four trailer? I did not. I am
Nope.
on a blackout.
Avoiding it like the plague.
I want no parts.
I'm out. I'm out on Superman trailers. I'm out on Fantastic Four. I'm barely watching TV.
Yeah. All right. Let's get the stack going. We know about the six that we talked about on the show already. VR Troopers #1.
Oh, you don't want me to read these? Oh, nice. You don't want me to read these numbers?
Oh, oh my God. Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry. Whoa. I'm getting ahead of myself. Please.
Near coming in. Near 22 for the stack. Robert Cashaback. I'm in for 17. Hayden's Hideout says 15. MX Mothman says 18. Steven Canaris coming in with an even 20. Patrick Zay, though, coming up behind says 20. Shane Stewart says 13. Rami Darwish says 15. CW Gordon says 18. Marowak Escuro says 16. Ted H, again, no faith whatsoever. Ted H says 29. Shauna Lee says 17. Patrick Zay says Heatwave Gang. Dan Trudeau came in late. Don't worry, you didn't miss it. 16. And Hayden says 8 for Marco Stack. And Entertain says 16.
Yeah, we need to have a talk.
Uh-oh.
This week has redefined everything.
Head, get ready.
No.
This week has redefined everything. Things have to change starting now. Starting today, chat.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. VR Troopers #1. I told you guys I would buy this on Pal's Previews. It was okay.
You bought it.
Yeah,
it was all right.
I was concerned about that. Yeah.
News from the Fallout. Fucking great.
Oh,
So good, dude. Look at the interiors, man. Please. Please look, Marco.
Okay.
You need to see this.
You're going to want to see this. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And you know what sucks is that we have access. Thank you, Image, for the preview things, and they come out in the crunchiest fucking art, man. God.
Yeah.
I find the Skybound ones are really bad. The Image ones don't bother me.
Superman 27. I didn't get to this. Incredible Hulk 26. Miles Morales 34. Giant size Age of Apocalypse. Look at this cover.
The same variant.
Hell yeah, dude. That Rachel Gray.
Yeah.
By my man Art Germ, always delivering the finest covers. Assorted Crisis Events #4. Department of Truth #31. Hyde Street #7. What a fail.
I forgot.
Better get your ass back
that's
to the
right.
LCS.
It didn't have the Image stuff. That's right.
Right. Huck #2. Lazarus Fallen #1. I really wanted to get to that, but like me reading Lazarus is like me trying to read Monstrous, whatever it's up to right now. Because Lazarus has had so many delays and things. Like I couldn't tell you the last thing that was happening. Green Lantern #24. Undiscovered Country 31. Void Rivals 20. We're Taking Everyone Down with Us 4. Fantastic Four #33. Out of Alcatraz #4. Mega Man Timelines #1. It finally dropped. And I almost shed a tear. It is so good.
You read it? Okay.
It's so good.
I
loved it. Look at this. Look at my boy. Look at my boy Blue.
Hell yeah.
Praying to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ like he should be.
Right?
Love that.
He's a good kid.
Love a good Christian boy.
Yep. X-Men.
Yeah. We done knew you were gonna get that.
Yeah.
136 facsimile edition. I suck because I put this down. I put it down. I saw $4.99. I said, nah, let me put it down. And what did I do? I went right back and grabbed it again.
He had muscle memory. He said, I thought I put that down. I better put that down. And he put it down in front of the cashier.
Yep. And the edges are fucked up too. And the edges are fucked up.
$5.99, $4.99. You get a good one?
No.
Damn.
No, I suck. Oh, we got a couple more numbers in there if you want to add them.
Yeah, we got perennial winner James Jones. Well, formerly perennial winner James Jones, 15 for the stack. Sean Ali said, damn, is that 22? I think that was 27.
Oh, did you finish? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I got 25.
I got lost in there.
It was
you might have to count. Yeah.
19 plus the 6 that we read for the show.
Okay, so that's 25.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, 19. Yep. No, 20. I have 20. I have 20 plus 6.
26.
There you go. Wow. 26. Let's see. Oh,
Boy, near, I think. Didn't go over.
C.W. Gordon says new record stack. Actually, it is not. Technically, it is the second highest of this year so far, Sean.
What was the highest?
At some point March 27th, 28.
That was 2 weeks worth, if I recall correctly.
I have here you had gotten stuff the week prior at
Marco
20.
coming with receipts.
You
That's
got
scary. But...
he said, hold on, let me see.
you had stuff at the week before that.
All right. Well, listen, then I got no excuse, man.
The one you're talking about
26
is the beginning of the year.
Right. Yeah.
Yo.
I fucked up. This was a rough week. I looked at that bill and I said, okay, things have to change from now. They have to change from now. And you guys aren't helping me.
Name your shame. How much?
I can't do it this week.
Come on. Yeah, listen. You want our help? You want our help? You got to put it all on the table.
It was over 100, yeah.
Oh.
Not even the discount could save that.
Oh.
Yo, I looked at mine. I was like, oh shit! Like my what is it? 'Cause today my insurance also got charged. I was just like looking through my my whatever, my credit card, and I was like, wait a second, how much the books cost?
Yeah.
Oops.
I hate it. Dude.
C.W. Gordon said 110.
Nah, bro. Hold on a second. Hold on. There's way more than that, because let's see. I got these 5. I didn't pick up Justice League, and I was missing issues. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah, we got to count Marco's.
Oh, this one was cool. Weird. Magic Lantern. Don't know what the fuck this is, but it's a big giant fly head. That looks wacky. That looks weird. That's me. Mr. Terrific. Year 1, number 22. Number 2. Excited for this one. Boy, the Age of Apocalypse.
I thought you said we got the same variant.
What did you get?
That's
You got the blue
Blink.
one.
I got Rachel Summers.
Oh shit. Well, I lied. Whoops. Girl in green. That's it. Yo, Mega Man.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that one. I also got
Support.
Superman. And then, 2. Purpose Project. This is the second. Forward by Andrew Yang. Yeah.
Hmm.
Then, you guys guess what this might be?
Oh, it's blank. I thought it was your camera malfunctioning. I was like,
No, there's
That's
something
kinda
Under it.
fun.
There's something under it.
oh,
Is
interesting.
it a booby
Chat.
comic?
It's not a booby comic. But I did
Chat.
mention being excited for something this week.
Chat, what is it?
Oh, interesting.
What's the mystery comic?
Back is the
Is this the last one, Marco?
This is.
That's 12, including the ones we read this week.
Here, I'll give it's not the Rocketeer, but rather it is a publisher that can print Rocketeer.
So it's IDW.
Is it? Oh, it's an IDW. Okay.
I think it's an IDW.
Because you didn't pull some books that you talked about being excited for on Pals Pulls.
This one I didn't, because I didn't realize this was coming out this week, or I
So
might have missed it.
Okay. Well, shit. Then I don't know.
Well, then your hint doesn't
Well,
Count.
it was tangential. There's one that's tangential, just because.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The new
nice.
Godzilla. Nice, nice.
This is
Oh, boy, that does not work.
that does not work. This is the James Stocco book. I'm a big fan, so I'm very excited to read this one.
Which one is it?
Uh, Godzilla, the Half Century War,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
1944 Japan. Ba-dum. Very excited to read.
So your stack was 12?
Uh, 12. 13.
Oh, lucky number 13. Rookie numbers, son. Get your numbers up.
Don't get your numbers up.
Don't get my numbers up.
Don't get your numbers
Don't
up.
get your
Don't
numbers
get my-
up.
The fact that you're so high is already worrying.
I'm falling back into it, dude.
Shane Stewart says if you were over here, that would be over $300. We haven't seen Shane in a while, but Shane Stewart is from New Zealand, I think, or Australia.
The comics over there are expensive.
That's crazy.
Like floppies looking at regularly 10 bucks.
Fuck that.
Entertain Me says I spent $60 this week. Last week was 88. So I went down to 28 saved. Just pick a number and stick with it.
But entertain me. Is that entertaining?
Marco, is math entertaining?
Yeah, a lot.
There you go.
But that's not math. If I have to pick a number, then that's just static. If I said, all right, my I can only buy, let's say, 15 books a week, then that's just what it is. And then I have to figure out how to get there every week. What could I have not bought? That's the problem that I have, guys.
I mean, you could have not bought quite a bit there.
Well, let's talk about it. I could have
Okay.
skipped VR Troopers. That's fair. But it's VR Troopers.
It's VR Troopers. And it's the number one.
Yeah.
I'm not buying number 2.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men I had to buy because we were reading it.
Mhm.
What else? Like,
Oh,
I fucking love all these books.
Shane Stewart said regular price here is $11.95.
Fuck that. That's nuts. All right, I didn't need to get this.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. You put it down.
Yeah, I'm stupid. But
I'm sitting here starting to just, but that's a special
Shut up.
issue.
Oh my
Like, you
God.
love that one.
that's the
Got
thing,
me.
man. That's what happened in my mind. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm looking at a bill and I'm like, wait a second. I was freaking out. Like, this shit is actually heavy, this stack here.
Dude.
I think the thing is you gotta pick a price, not
Right.
an amount.
Yes, exactly. It's the price. That's the math.
That's a look. These books will be around. You're just gonna have to live without them.
You're right.
Tom
I'm-
McCown's is right. Price insensitive.
You're gonna
That
have
is-
to get sensitive.
Yeah, I need to be sensitive. Oh shit. This. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You go because I'm gonna close out with something.
I was gonna close the show.
Before we close out, I'm very much. I pulled out the Purpose Project. This is part of this AWA Futurefic collaboration from AWA, and it's called the Protopias Collection. I touched on it. Very hungry for this. I'm gonna be. I read the first one, Polis. Read this one for anybody who's interested in it. Definitely tune in for Pals previews because this might be the back matter that I'm gonna want to touch on in the latter part of the show. Think not dystopian, not utopian, but just far enough in the future where maybe we can affect positive change. That's the premise of this whole series.
Good premise. Is it good?
Oh, that's the question.
It's always the question. What's not in question is that the next time we will be live with you is this Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. And there are some things to talk about. We have big news about the new creative team behind Transformers. You're not going to want to miss us revealing that to you if you don't know about it and digging into what we could be seeing as the future for some of the Energon universe stuff. So big news there. We're going to talk about the rumored end of the Ultimate Universe and a lot more. We've got a lot to come, so it should be a great time. Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Hit like on your way out of here if you have not yet. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, guys.
See you next week.